Tea time. So this is a longer story, so if y'all don't have time now, give this a save so you can come back to it later. This story takes place in 1989 in a bus depot in Cairo, Egypt. I am 17 years old and I have just taken a bus from Jerusalem through the Sinai Desert to Cairo. Backstory. I was visiting a friend in Israel and she did a wonderful job taking me from Haifa all the way to Eilat and every place in between. But when I turned to her and said, my parents don't know this, but I really want to go to Cairo and see the pyramids, she said, I can't join you, but you can go on your own. She booked me a bus from Jerusalem to Cairo through the Sinai Desert because I thought it would be romantic, and off I went on my 3-day vacation. We were gonna meet in Eilat on a Friday night. On the bus ride, I was sitting next to a German man who was very kind and told me to put my passport and all of my money in my bra. Really happy I did, because as soon as we got to the bus depot, I had some money in the front pocket of my suitcase and that was immediately pickpocketed. I'm flustered. I get into a taxi and I give the driver the address of the hotel I'm staying at. And I was cheap and I didn't know any better, so I booked a 3-star hotel and he doesn't go. And I say, you can leave now. And he said, I'm waiting for your male escort. And I said, oh, I don't have one. So he started driving very slowly and he said, looking over the rear view mirror into me, he said, may I give you some advice? And I said, sure. And he said, you're traveling alone in Cairo as a woman. I recommend you take the ring off your right finger and you put it on your left finger. You are now married. You do not make eye contact with anyone. If a man approaches you, you say, I'm waiting for my father or my uncle or my brother, but you are never traveling alone. He said, do you have a long skirt in your suitcase? And I said, I do. I was planning on wearing shorts. He said, you're here during Ramadan. You're going to wear that skirt every day. You'll wash it in the sink in your hotel room. Do you have a long sleeve shirt? I said, I do. And I was confused because I didn't know what Ramadan was. He said, you're going to wash that shirt every night in the sink as well, and you're going to wear it every day. He said, do you have a scarf? And I said, I do. He said, fantastic. You're going to wear the scarf. You are not going to make eye contact with anyone. You are going to keep to yourself. You're going to go to the pyramids. You're going to go to wherever you want to go. But just remember, you are in a very different place from what you're used to, and you need to abide by the rules of this place. We got to my hotel. I tipped him, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe he was just being overly protective or whatever. But my fears were confirmed about 10 minutes after I checked into the hotel. The hotel manager called me in my hotel room and said, I'd like to buy you a drink. I'd like to understand how you're traveling alone as a 17-year-old woman. I did not sleep that night. I had a chair pushed up against the door handle of the hotel room and I had a razor blade and I had lights on all night long. And as soon as daybreak hit, I checked out of the hotel and I went to a big American chain. I followed everything that taxi driver had told me. I wore a long skirt. I covered myself up completely. I had a scarf around my neck. I wore sunglasses. I made eye contact with no one. I went to the Giza pyramids on a bus ride. I had a marvelous time at the pyramids. I watched American and European tourists being mauled and harassed because they were in tank tops and short shorts. And I am so incredibly grateful to this taxi driver because Cairo is very intimidating. You get there, all the signs are in Arabic. You don't know where you're going. You are literally putting your trust and your life into hoping that your taxi driver is a good person. I reflect on this taxi driver so much in my life and just remember that there are guardian angels everywhere. We just have to be open to their messages and their advice. So if I can leave you with anything in this story, look for your guardian angels. They are everywhere. You might just find yours.